Hi, so in this video today, I'd like to share with you why I think that the actual photographs that we take, the images that we create, are by far not the most crucial thing that we do as a photographer or as a portrait studio. If you stick around to the end, I'll tell you a few of the things that I think that are. So if you're new to the channel, my name is Richard. I'm a full-time boudoir photographer here in Australia. I own this studio along with my wife. We turn over multiple six figures per annum. I make these videos because I really enjoy talking about the business of photography. So this is actually something I've wanted to talk about for a while now, and what actually gave me the inspiration to make this video was that a little while back I was having a discussion with a friend of mine who's a lawyer, and he's in the process of leaving his job as a lawyer and opening a photography studio because that's where his passion lies. And in our discussions he was asking about the things that he needs and the things he needs to do and that type of thing, and the subject of the photography came up, the actual photographs that we create. And I expressed to him that I felt that the photographs that we create are by far and away not the most crucial thing to being successful as a boudoir or portrait studio. So to explain to you why I feel strongly about this is, I'd like to tell you a story if that's okay. You're welcome to fast forward this bit if you want, because it's me just telling a story about years gone by. But it stems back to when I was a musician. So as a young guy, now when I say young I mean late teens and very early 20s, I was obsessed with being a good guitarist, okay? I spent hours practicing. I got pretty good, like I was a pretty good player. But the thing that back then was that I guess that the basis of being classified as good was how fast you could play. It was in that era of Eddie Van Halen and guys like Stevie Ray Vaughan were guitar heroes and things like that. So I practiced. I got pretty good. I was a pretty good player. And what I learned was though that out in the real world, that when I actually went out and played for a living, that those things really didn't matter much. That what people actually wanted were songs that they could dance and sing to. And they were songs like Brown Eyed Girl, I Would Walk 500 Miles, Your Sex Is On Fire, I'm a Believer, those party type songs. And to be truthful, I mean, they're great songs, don't get me wrong, but they're not terribly challenging to play. So what all that did was, it taught me actually a very valuable lesson. And the valuable lesson was that you don't have to be the best to do well professionally. If I think back to, excuse me, some of the musicians that I know, and some of the best paid ones, they were the ones who were great entertainers, and that's kind of what I became. And that was, if I was to put it bluntly, essentially I was a beer salesman who entertained people. So basically I was an entertainer and not a musician. And I think this translates to photography quite clearly. So when I decided to become a professional photographer, I was very mindful of that lesson that I learned. And I made a very conscious decision not to be too obsessed with the technical perfection of photography, because that's a really easy rabbit hole to go down, especially when you start going into forums and YouTube and things like that. You start worrying about lenses and dynamic range performance and all that type of stuff. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. That's what I've learned anyway. Because if sheer talent was a prerequisite for success in any creative industry, there'd be a hell of a lot more successful, really talented artists. Unfortunately though, sheer talent won't get you there. Now, obviously there are complete outliers, and I can think of a few in music where people are just so insanely good that they rise above everyone else and you can't help but notice them. But as I said, they are outliers. Now, one thing is, I did come into the industry quite late, and I actually think that in a weird way, the industry overall, the photography industry overall, has kind of brainwashed in a way masses of photographers into thinking that if they have certain gear, or if they have certain lenses, or if they go to Hawaii with models and shoot at sunset there, or if they go to Alaska and do photographs there, that by producing that work or by having that gear, that people will see that and we will attract clients like that. In other words, there's this feeling in the industry that people should value our work. And I don't think that should be the case at all. I think, personally, that we should be speaking to what people actually want. That's obviously a very different discussion. I could probably do a whole video on that. But I think, personally, the photography industry in general kind of has everything all arse about. Now, if you're watching this and you're thinking, this guy doesn't value photography, that's not the case at all. I love awesome photography. But I think that, the base level of being a professional photographer should be just professional, competent work. It doesn't have to be amazing. It just has to be good. And I actually, in a weird way, think that just good, basic, professional quality work is severely underrated in a lot of cases. But again, that's a discussion for another day. To roll out yet another analogy, like if I go to the dentist with a sore tooth and I then leave the dentist without a sore tooth and a filling and I don't have any problems with it, to me that's professional quality of work of what they do. It doesn't mean that we have to celebrate them or put them on our shoulders and carry them around like heroes. But that sort of seems to be what photographers seem to expect. A lot of photographers seem to expect that their clients or potential clients value their work, and that's why they would come to them. So again, I'm repeating myself, but I think that a lot of people have this whole thing the wrong way around, and I think that a lot of the photography industry has this all arse about as well. So I think that the good news out of all this is you don't have to be the best to do well. You don't have to be at an elite level of talent to do well in this industry if you know how to run a photography business. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've seen photos where I look at them and go, wow, you've actually got money for those? You know what I mean? And I've looked at some of my work in the past like that as well. Some of the photos have been out of focus, just technically wrong. And I've actually even pointed that out to clients, but they don't care. They love them, And I've actually got to the point now, this is true, I actually now deliberately shoot photographs out of focus because people seem to like them. So there you go. So if the actual photography isn't the most important thing, then what is? Well, I think there's a whole lot of things that are more important than the actual photography. But let me give you the top 3. These are here I actually want to do an entire video on each one. So if you're interested, maybe mention it in the comments and I'll definitely do it. So the first thing, and I believe that this is the most important thing out of everything, and that is the ability to market, advertise, and generate leads. Because if you don't have leads, in other words, people to contact and talk about what you do and what you can do for them, then this is all in vain because you've got no one to photograph. So I think that is the most important thing out of everything. And the second most important thing following that, I think, is the ability to connect and communicate with people and finding out what people really want and what's important to them. I think if you can do that, I think if you can photograph people in a way that means a lot to them, that will trump anything else in the world. I really mean that, and I've proven that over and over again. So I think connecting with people is the second most important thing. And then following from that is, I think the third most important thing is simply creating an amazing experience for people. I actually think that the experience that you give people is far more important than the photographs that you produce. Say, for example, you're the most incredible photographer in the world, but you're a complete asshole, right? Let's just imagine that. You bring them in here, you treat them like shit, and you produce incredible work, okay? The trouble with that, of course, is that whenever they see those photographs, they're going to just relate to feeling bad. But if you can make people feel good, if you can photograph what's actually important to them, okay, they'll relate that to having a positive experience and will consequently buy photographs. If you can do that, you will be successful in this industry, I promise you. And I'm a living testament to it. Like I said, I came into this quite late, and we do pretty well out of this. As I said, we do multiple 6 figures per annum. So there you go. That's my thoughts on the actual nuts and bolts of photography. I really hope you got something out of this. I hope that it gives you encouragement. I hope that it gives you hope that you don't have to be the best in the world. That when you look at these incredible photographers that we see who are like ambassadors for Canon and Nikon and things like that, you think, oh my God, I'll never be as good as them. The good news is you don't have to be. I really mean that. So if you got anything out of this and you're not subscribed to the channel, I'd love you to subscribe to the channel. If you are subscribed to the channel, I'd love you to like the video, maybe leave a comment on what you did get out of it or any comments in general. Until next time, I really thank you for watching this. Take good care, and I'll see you in the next video. Again, thank you for watching.